Okay, we're good.
All righty. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome this evening to our Healthy Living event brought to us by the Juice Plus Company and Juice Plus Products. And we're excited to have all of you on tonight. If this is the first time you're coming to us on a Thursday evening, let me introduce myself. My name is Josh Duhan. I am a avid Juice Plus consumer. My aunt and my family, big advocates of health and wellness. And at about 10 years old, I started having Juice Plus capsules put down my throat. And really probably one of the biggest blessings of my life and really my family's life, in that it has provided us just a huge edge on our health, our vitality. And what I want to do this evening is I want to give you guys a little bit of history on our company, because at this point we're actually a pretty old company. I want to give you a little bit of an orientation on our products, and then I'm going to turn it right over to our special guest speakers for the evening. So if this is the first time you're hearing about the Juice Plus Company, here's a little company history. We were actually originally, when we were first introduced in the marketplace, our name was NSA, and that stood for National Safety Association. And a young guy at the time started the company, a guy by the name of Jay Martin. He's actually still the guy that heads up the company today, 50 years later. But the first product Jay brought to market was a fire alarm. And as you can see, fire alarms very successful. That was a $1 billion product line. And then in the early 80s, Jay moved into the field of air and water filtration systems. And this was actually by the time that my family got involved. Clean air, clean water was something that made sense to us. We started using the air and water filtration systems and really enjoyed them. Enjoyed them so much and had such good results with them that we started to share those products with other people. And in a relatively short period of time, we built up a very successful business in the 80s with those air and water filtration systems. And then in the 90s, Jay moved us one more time into the field of health technology with these products that you see here today. And, you know, at the time, juicing was on the scene. It was very popular. Juicing was a really easy way for people to get a large amount of produce into their body every day that they would normally never be able to eat by drinking it. And so juicing was a huge fad, and juicing was fantastic, but there were some downsides to it. Number one, if you were doing it yourself, the prep time, the food cost, very, very exorbitant cost, a lot of prep time. Cleaning up a juicing machine, I don't know if any of you have ever done that, but that's a nightmare. It just looks like a bomb goes off in your kitchen. So for most people, it wasn't something that they could really stick with consistently over time. And the thing that the body requires, whether it's going to the gym or brushing your teeth, is it requires consistency over time. And so what Juice Plus products really are is they're a juicing replacement. That's how I talk about them. That's what I tell people they are. Because really what our company does is we grow all of our own produce. We grow it to the peak point of ripeness. So it's picked vine ripened, and that's really important, because if we use a banana as an example, when you guys go to the grocery store and you buy a banana, it's green, it's gassed, it's shipped on a truck, it shows up at the grocery store, you buy it, it ripens on your counter. But the nutritional content or the nutritional quality of that banana is very low, because it wasn't allowed to vine ripen. And nature infuses all of the nutrition into produce right as it ripens on the vine. So our company picks all of the produce, vine ripen, we mulch it on site, and then through a proprietary process, we remove the water, sugar, and salt, and we encapsulate the micronutrition. And so when you take a dose of Juice Plus, you're getting the equivalent of about 3 fresh pressed juices a day. And so if any of you have been to Whole Foods and you bought one of those juices for $8 or $10 a piece, imagine getting 3 of those a day for $3.48. That's what you get here with this Core 4 package. 2 veggie capsules out of the green bottle, 2 red, 2 berry out of the purple, and 2 of our new plant-based. When you get a dose of Juice Plus, you're getting the equivalent of about 3 fresh pressed juices a day, and you're getting that for $3.48 a day. And so for people that are mindful of their health, their wellness, they realize that they're probably not eating the variety of produce every day that their bodies really need them to eat. This represents a simple, convenient vehicle that a person can take with them wherever they go. That's the thing that I love about my Juice Plus. It can go with me wherever I go. and it lays that nutritional foundation for me every day. So these are our core 4 capsules. One of the things I love to point out to people, because at first glance this does look like a supplement, if you see the back of the bottle here, we've got a nutrition facts label. The FDA classifies us as food in the bottle. So supplements, supplemental labels, we're in really a totally different category. Even though we are in a bottle and we do have a capsule, we're not in fact a supplement. We also have a plant-based protein powder. We see people use these in a lot of different ways. I use these for athletic recovery, performance after training. We'll see some people use it as a meal on the go in the morning. People get great results on our Shred 10 program with the capsules and the shakes. And that's kind of my routine, actually. I take a dose of Juice Plus in the morning with 1 bag here in a shaker bottle with water. And then I take the same dose in the afternoon after I train. And so I'm on a double dose. But the thing that I tell people all the time is, look, it's just food, okay? It cannot hurt you. You cannot eat too much good food every single day. So without further ado, I want to turn it over to Lauri and her team. Lauri Aigner is a national marketing director with our company, and she and some of her team members are on with us this evening. They're going to share their Juice Plus product stories, their Juice Plus business stories, and really share with us their impressions, thoughts, and feelings about what this journey has been for them. Lauri, I'll turn it over to you if you're with us.
Yep, I'm here. Can you hear me okay?
We can.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much. Gosh, what a treat to get to be here tonight. And I know my team feels the same way. So as Josh mentioned, my name's Lauri Aigner. I do live in the Denver, Colorado area. And my health journey started 19 years ago when my son Gabe was born, and he was labeled failure to thrive. But not only was his health compromised, I was also suffering from some gut issues, from postpartum depression, and I weighed almost 200 pounds. So during my search to find something to help our health that aligned with my values, it had more positive side effects. A friend actually invited me to learn more about the power of adding whole food nutrition to our diets. So I honestly had no idea how Juice Plus could help us, but adding more fruit and vegetable nutrition made total sense to me. So we all started taking it. And after just, a short couple months of consistently being able to flood our bodies with the nutrition that Juice Plus provides, we were able to start weaning Gabe off of some of his medications, which was really exciting because he was thriving. So, and his body continued to correct itself so much that he was able to go on and pursue his passion of becoming a competitive hockey player. So he's 19 now. And I also noticed, like, I had more energy, I had more mental clarity. I was starting to shed some of the weight from the pregnancy, and I was 36. So that was a big deal for me, because things don't bounce back at 36, like you hear the young ones say. So, but at the same time, my husband was a real estate broker, and we needed health insurance. So I took a job at Starbucks, and I was waking up at 4 a.m., 5 days a week, trading dollars for hours. I was missing precious moments with my family, and really just to build somebody else's dreams. So when I saw that I could receive a corporate benefits package by building a business with this company and helping others do the same, I was all in. I drew a line in the sand. And that's, you're going to get to hear from some of my team tonight. But fast forward to 2020, who knew that my husband would be in between jobs when this pandemic started? So I cannot tell you how grateful I am to be part of this supportive community. I have residual income, and I have a comprehensive health insurance plan to support myself and my family. So I'm happy to report that Gabe recently, somebody echoing. And I'm happy to report that my son Gabe recently retired from his junior hockey career to start his next chapter of life. And he graduated high school a couple years ago. But I'm even more excited about my husband's and my new life chapter as freedom nesters. So, and really just not having to worry about where the money will come from. So along this journey, you know, we added Tower Gardens to our product line. And when Tower Gardens, when I got my first Tower Garden, I actually took it to a local sustainability meeting in my area. And that is where I met our next speaker, Andy. So Andy, take it away.
You are.
All right, you can see me now, right?
Yes.
Awesome. Thanks, Carol, for your help with that. So I'm Andy Kennedy. I live in Steamboat Springs, Colorado, and I've been with the Juice Plus company since 2014. But actually, my story goes back to 2007 when my husband was recommended Juice Plus for healthy bones related to his paralysis. Craig was paralyzed in a skiing accident in 1996, and that can lead to low bone density. So someone shared Juice Plus with us back then. And, you know, we really saw a way, you know, to get that added nutrients into our bodies. And so we actually, because times were tough a little bit for us financially, we split his order for a few months. Of course, now I know like that wasn't really helping us a ton. But shortly after that, I had some health complications. And I was recommended to start taking some foods out of my diet. So because of that, I also stopped Juice Plus because it contains some of those foods. And unfortunate as that is. So fast forward to 2014, after watching my husband for years and years get healthier and healthier and crave better foods and really thrive with his health. My own health, my own body was getting weaker and weaker, and eventually I kind of hit rock bottom. I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder, and I was prescribed medication. I was often troubled with frequent skin flare-ups, and I was always tired from usual kind of sleepless nights that I had at the time, chronic fatigue, if you will. I was also really frustrated with dining out because of the elimination diets that I had been on over that course of 7 years. I'd been cutting out a lot of food, healthy food. And so whenever we went out to a restaurant, I had a special order, but even still, I was never quite sure if I was going to eat something that would upset my body. So eventually I just stopped eating out, and I kind of felt like my freedom to enjoy food was slipping away. So enter Lauri. We had become close friends, and she could see that I was suffering. She tried several times to share Juice Plus, but you know, I didn't know what I didn't know, and I can be pretty stubborn. So finally one day she shared Juice Plus, a Juice Plus call with me. It was Dr. Paul Williams. The call was titled "How Juice Plus is Safe for Everyone," and a light bulb went on for me, realizing you know, that some of the foods in Juice Plus were perfectly safe for me to eat when it was on that sort of subatomic level, right, that Juice Plus is. So I was surprised at the time to really learn all of that, to shift my learning around that. So to really shift to think that the rainbow was really what my body needed. You know, it's about adding more plant food in. So at that point, to Lauri's relief, I finally jumped all in. And it was the best decision of my life. Physically, within a few weeks, I was really noticing that on a deep cellular level, I felt like my body was coming back to me. I felt more vibrant immediately. I slept better pretty quickly too. And my skin began to clear up slowly but surely. And within 6 to 8 months, my health labs were improved enough that I was eventually able to reduce and eliminate the medication that my doctor had prescribed for my autoimmune disorder. So in about 3 years then later, even after that, the doctor redacted my condition diagnosis altogether. So now 6 years later, I feel fortified every day knowing that I'm flooding my body with all of those fruits and veggies that Josh talks about. You know, that none of us could possibly eat that much every single day. So, you know, I used to always get an annual cold. I never get that anymore. Sometimes that would take me out for 2 or 3 weeks. I don't have the inflammation that I used to. And I can tolerate, surprisingly, the most surprising thing to me is that I can tolerate all of the foods that I couldn't tolerate before. But I still really try to eat as cleanly as possible. There's still a lot of foods that I don't eat on a daily basis, but when I do, they don't do any near of I have no repercussions like I used to. So my body is in balance, and I feel healthier at 47 than I did at 27. So I know Juice Plus will be part of my body for my life and my health regimen forever. But when I say I went all in, like Lauri said she did, I joined the business the same day, because at the time of my health issues, I was also burning out in my marketing director position at the sustainability nonprofit that Lauri talked about. working for a nonprofit equals long hours, evenings, weekends, and underpay with no vacation or paid benefits, vacation, time away. When you leave your nonprofit, you don't get paid. So I was living paycheck to paycheck, and my husband was also working for a nonprofit. So we were amassing some debt. And within 18 months of doing both, I was able to match my nonprofit pay and walk away. And while I became a partner with the company initially to help us with our financial stress, I found that there's so much more than that to this company. This community is totally my tribe. Everyone is so supportive and loving and has the same core beliefs about sustainability and helping others feel that I do. So the overall mission really helps me, inspire health around the world. That's our motto, our mission, right? And I could honestly never have that big of an effect at the nonprofit that I was working at here locally on a small scale. So to be able to affect positive change, thousands of lives around the world, and what better, job is there than that? So, it's not trading dollars for hours anymore. We get to dream bigger. I get to be with my husband more. Like Lauri said, she could with her family. And when we travel, we still get paid. So that's pretty cool. And so now I want to segue it to my friend Cathy, who's next. And I want to, in that, tell you about one of our programs that our company has. When you are promoted to the first leadership position in our company, which can take 3 to 6 months, you're gifted what we call lead customers through our lead program. So in 2020, I woke up one morning to an email, not for 1, but 2 Tower Garden units. And I can tell you, how cool a feeling is that the company gifts us these orders and people like this, so cool. So, but I'll let Cathy tell you guys that story.
Thank you, Andy. Yeah, that was a surprise, huh? So my name is Cathy Batterton. I live in a small rural community in Idaho, Salmon, Idaho, along the Salmon River. I actually came to Juice Plus through the Tower Gardens. I have always had a passion. I didn't mention that I'm also a massage therapist, but I've been doing that for 14 years, and I was looking for something a little bit more and wanted to follow my passion in gardening and growing food to be able to not only for my husband and myself, but also for our community. And so in January 2020, I was online looking for a way to grow during our winters here, since we have such a short season, and to be able to grow year round. And I found Tower Gardens. I found the Tower Garden website, and I started looking at it and realized this right here is exactly what we need. And so I ordered 2 towers, as Andy mentioned initially. And she called and double checked with me to make sure that was right. And we got to visit about it. And I got the towers and I set them up. It was so easy to set them up. And I was able to start growing almost immediately. And the time that I had to spend on taking care of the towers was so small compared to what my traditional garden required. Plus, it was in the wintertime when we first started growing on them. And so my husband and I talked as soon as he saw what we could grow with these towers indoors during the winter. He said we need to get more so that we could provide produce not only for ourselves, but for our community. And that is when Andy talked to me a little bit more about the business. And that not only could I save on the towers we were purchasing, but we could sell the towers. It was a no-brainer for me because I was already telling everybody, I was so excited about the towers that I was telling everybody about them, and they would see the towers and the towers were selling themselves. We have a lack of fresh produce in our area, even in the summertime, because we're so far away from everything. So went ahead and ordered a bunch more towers. At the time, I told Andy when she brought up about the Juice Plus that I was just the towers. I wasn't interested. I think the cost initially is something that kept me from trying the Juice Plus. And so I saw what it was a day, and I thought I could replace the bad things I was putting in my body to have a pick-me-up in the afternoon, like my mocha, with the Juice Plus, and it would actually cost me less. So I ordered some of the Juice Plus after attending the virtual conference last year and hearing some of the stories of what Juice Plus had done for the people. So I went ahead and ordered it, and I'd say about a week and a half later, I was waking up with a lot more energy, well rested. If I did a whole day full of massages, or I worked out in the garden all day long, I didn't have a recovery day the next day, that I was able to keep going and not have to take a down day from that. So I started sharing about the Juice Plus with my massage clients, as well as friends and family. And also people were asking me, what are you doing? So they could notice the difference as well. And, you know, since starting with this community, I've just fallen in love with it. Since day one, the support I've received and the encouragement has been beyond what I would ever have guessed or expected. And I look back over this past year, and I've come so far, not only in my health, but also in my personal improvement and what I'm looking forward to in the future, and possibility of working from home and growing that dream of ours of having a farm and being able to bring that to our community, but also share about growing your own food. I'm excited to see what the future has to hold. My husband and I have already talked about buying more towers. We would love to get into tower farms. But, you know, some of the other things too is, you know, I'm looking forward to all the people that I'm going to meet with this community, and the people that we talk to and share about Juice Plus, as well as the Tower Gardens. There's so many people I've met that otherwise I would not have. And speaking of that, the next young lady that will be speaking, I met Courtney through my very first partner, Joanne. She introduced me to Courtney when we went down and helped Courtney set up her first tower garden, and the rest is history. So it's all yours, Courtney.
Awesome. Hello, my name is Courtney. I live in Kuna, Idaho, which is right outside of Boise. I have two boys, ages 2 and 10. Growing up as a child, I would say I never really understood what healthy eating was. Basically, boxed food was my go-to. My mom was a single mom, so it was a struggle to provide the healthier foods in our family. Emotional eating of shame became a new norm for me as growing up. Never being satisfied by what I was eating was the biggest problem. And honestly, I feel so guilty with my oldest son because I see the same patterns that I once had in him. So about 6 months ago, I was having pretty significant gut issues. My gallbladder had been removed. My eating habits were very poor. On a daily basis, I was finding myself having midday crashes due to low energy. But the last 4 years, I was noticing it pretty daily. And that's when I really started looking into my life. I was experiencing dry skin pretty much my whole life. The last 4 years was pretty bad too. Dry skin on my elbows, on my face, you name it. So when a close friend of mine knew the journey that I was taking about 6 months ago, where I was really starting to commit to not only working out, but finding a healthier solution. She told me that there was a way to flood your body with over 30 fruits and vegetables. And honestly, all I could think about was, wow, that is a lot of eating. Talking about if I happen to know what was in the ingredients in my kids' vitamins. Sorry. It was never really a thought in my mind at that point about my kids' health. And now saying that out loud, it kind of makes me feel very selfish at that point in my life. So at this point, I really started to become more concerned that I no longer knew the ingredients that were in my kids' vitamins, but I just knew that they were gummies and they liked them, they took it. So that's all that mattered, right? So she had mentioned that Juice Plus was not only for adults, but it was also for kids, and how they have gummies that can flood, or that have 30 fruits and vegetables that can flood their body as well. And at that time, I knew my kids are kids and they don't always eat as many vegetables as they need, right? But not only that, the fight to get them to eat what they should eat was more agonizing than anything. So then she went out and brought back a package of the gummies. And honestly, I could not believe my eyes when I saw what fruits and vegetables were in there, specifically for the vegetables, because I know that my kids wouldn't dare to eat half of what is even in there. They stick to broccoli, and more broccoli, and that's about it. And so, see, she then suggested to me, because at that point I was like super excited. I was like, yeah, let's go. Like, I want to start my kids on it right now. And she's like, you know, if you were that excited about this product, you should start selling, because I think you could help other young moms become more aware of what their kids are eating and what they're giving their kids. So a short week later, let me tell you, I finally committed to being a partner of Juice Plus. I never tried it at that point. I was just for the mission and what was behind it. And so I wanted to see what the product did for me. Now, fast forward 6 months later, I am a qualified sales coordinator, but I call it AKA a qualified inspirer, because I am inspiring more people like me as a mom. I have seen so many improvements in my life, such as my gut issues have lessened. I have less amount of days where I am completely bloated, which is so awesome. I have fewer days of constipation, which you guys are probably like, I don't want to hear that, but no, it's true. It's hard. It's hard when you feel bloated and constipated, but the one biggest benefit that I have found out of all of this is I used to have gallbladder attacks pretty frequently, and I have experienced, since being on that, few to almost none. And my skin feels smoother, it looks healthier. I have noticed that I'm not breaking out nearly as much. I crave water throughout my whole day, which is something that I would have never thought I could say, because drinking 3 glasses of water was like choking down water. It was something that was very difficult for me, but I am just so grateful, because of one simple change has created more of an awareness for me and my family. Since starting my Juice Plus journey, my kids love taking their fruits and vegetables. Every morning, they know that it's our routine. It's just like brushing your teeth. Like, that is what you do. You take what makes your body healthy. They are eating more fruits and vegetables like they've never used to before. My son in particular has intestinal issues, which are getting less and less as he becomes more regular, which is amazing as a mom. I've noticed for myself that I am more aware now, more than ever, that my family's health is most important. We as a family are reading labels on the backs of foods, which, what kids read labels on the backs of food unless it says like candy, sugar, chips? You know, they're not reading labels, but my kids are becoming more aware of what they're eating, which is amazing. Which I wouldn't have done had I not been thinking about how important my kids' food choices are instead of just myself. When I don't take Juice Plus, I definitely notice a big change. I noticed that my energy is low, my water intake, I don't thirst for water. My sugar cravings are actually more when I don't stay consistent. So being a partner with Juice Plus, what I love about the mission is that I am helping bringing awareness to other families, bringing families together. As you will see later on, I brought my mom on as a partner because I think that the two of us could help not only support one another and our family as a whole, but also to help change the people closest to us and start watching them making the changes as well. My goal one day is to not only inspire families, but to also bring awareness of healthy eating in schools. I think it's super important. My mom and I do have planned to open up an indoor farm where we can grow year-round and have a place where kids and family can come and see the process of food and how it grows, but also to make healthy food look good. But without Juice Plus, I don't feel I would have ever been inspired to become something more when it comes to my family's health. And for that, before I start crying, I'm going to send it over to my mom, who is ready to do hers.
All right. Hi, everybody. I am the mom of that wonderful girl, and she is amazing. So I just got to give you that. So a little bit about me. I have been active most of my life. I love to camp. I love to jog. I love to work out. For me, I always struggled with my weight. And this goes back to my early adulthood. I've been on about every trendy diet there is. I've done low fat. I've done no fat. I've done Atkins, South Beach, the blood type diet, the zone. I mean, you name it, I have tried it. Dieting for me almost became a game. I hated water, I knew it was good for me though, right? I hated fruit because it had sugar and it made me gain weight even more. But I knew it was good for me. I spent most of my time taking things away and getting absolutely no result. As I got closer to 50, I was tired, both physically and mentally. I couldn't sleep, and I often would get 4 to 5 hours, and they would be broken hours. I was constantly fatigued as a result of that. I think the worst part for me is that I felt defeated because I always ended up back where I started, every diet I tried, and it was frustrating. So here I was turning 50. I spent most of my life repeating the things that never worked for me in the first place, to the extent that I basically destroyed my metabolism. Here at 50, no metabolism and no hormones. So you can add that all together. I never thought about nutrition. It was all about losing weight. So in January of 2020, it was kind of my season for change. My friend and my father-in-law were both diagnosed with cancer. And it was really devastating for us. My husband and I made a vow to each other to pay closer attention to things around us and to our lives and be more intentional in the things that we did. So I had a pretty big medical scare in June of 2020 that really caused me to look at the way that I was living my life. And a part of that, the way that the things that I was putting into my body, and just the whole part of me and what I wanted out of my life. So you heard earlier how I was introduced to Juice Plus by my daughter, Courtney. We've been focusing on our health the past couple of years by doing kickboxing together. We have a great relationship. So moving forward with our health was really a priority. We were eating a little bit healthier. And so when she came to me with Juice Plus, although I was a skeptic, I'll tell you, I'm the skeptic in the family. She's the one that jumps. But I was in. I'm so glad that I made that decision. I joined Juice Plus in October of 2020, so pretty new. To my surprise, I noticed changes instantly. instantly. I was never able to sleep well, like I talked to you about. And I was no longer after I started Juice Plus, I was falling asleep easy. I was sleeping through the entire night and I was dreaming. And that is just absolutely amazing to me. Something that I honestly can't remember the last time that I ever did. It felt amazing. I was no longer tired. I wasn't fatigued. And in fact, I felt kind of like euphoric. Very interesting feeling for me, knowing that I wasn't even having midday crashes like I used to. I would get tired at 3 o'clock and I could zone out on anything that was happening. Funny part is it was nothing that a little berry gummy couldn't fix. And that's what Juice Plus gives to me, just a little extra boost. It was kind of odd, but really exciting. It was all about nutrition. And that's the funny thing. The one thing that I never paid attention to until then, that really sealed it for me. Knowing that I was getting everything in my body and everything that I was lacking all of these years. And it was as simple as fruits and vegetables. Really. An added bonus for me was when I was introduced to the Tower Gardens, a way to grow produce in your dining room year round. I absolutely love this idea. This has become my passion. I love watching my grandchildren. They really get excited about planting the seeds and then go, ooh, it just grew a little bit. And then watching it grow and actually eating it off of the tower. That's really become everything that I want. I'm an educator by trade. And the thought of teaching kids using the Tower Garden as a tool, that they value food by growing it, I love that. I absolutely love that. As Courtney said, we plan to open up an indoor tower farm to inspire children and families to grow their own food. Tower Garden for me is really the way of the future. We're making nutrition fun, and we get to impact the way that the next generation sees food, which makes them healthier. I think an added bonus to this is that I now have something that I love doing, and I get to make some money doing it. And we get to change people's lives. We watched someone actually this last weekend that was really interested. And you notice when people really get it, the look on their face is amazing. And if we get to do that, it's just one step closer to making a difference. Thanks, guys.
Well, thank you so much, Lauri and everybody, for tonight. We really appreciate your time, your courage sharing with us. Guys, we meet like this every Thursday night, every week. And come explore. You know, the great thing about this, as you see, is for so many people, it's so many different things. And so, you know, that's the wonderful thing about Juice Plus as a product and a business, is it really meets you where you're at in your life, and it seems to provide you whatever it is you need that you're looking for. So at that point, I'll sign off. We'll see everybody next week. Carol, I'll let you stop and we'll restart here in a second.